So Jack Della Maddalena versus Sean Brady has been cancelled due to Sean Brady pulling out with an infection in his elbow, and they have got a new fight for Jack Della Maddalena. His new opponent is going to be the undefeated Josiah Harrell. Now, people online are saying stuff like it should have been Buckley, it should have been Chris Curtis, all this sort of thing. Obviously, Chris Curtis has a fight booked, so the UFC probably didn't want to mess it up because booking fights in the rankings isn't just as easy as you think it is. They probably didn't want to mess that part up. And then with Jack and Buckley publicly said he didn't want the fight, and Buckley was even offered the fight at 185 pounds, and he still turned it down against Jack Della Maddalena anyway. And now that the fight has been announced, he's posted on Twitter and Instagram all these sort of things that kind of infers that he wanted the fight, but in reality he didn't. And if I did reach out to JDM's team or a couple of people that know JDM's team, and everyone has said that Buckley was never in the talks. Buckley was never in the running for this fight. So don't believe everything you've seen on the internet. Joaquin Buckley was never actually a potential option. So they've gone with signing Josiah Harrell to the UFC, and now he's going to be fighting JDM. The opening odds for this fight have actually already been announced. I believe JDM is minus 825, and Josiah Harrell is like plus 600 or something like that. And to get into the matchup and to start talking about the fight, I don't like the matchup for Josiah Harrell. I think Harrell's a great fighter. You can look here and you can see that he's a lightweight, but he's fought at all sorts of weight classes. You go through his topology, he's fought at 170, he's fought at 155 twice as a pro, he's fought at 160, he's fought at 165, he's fought at 162. This guy has fought all sorts of weight classes, but I'm telling you, when he was fighting at 155 pounds against this guy, Tracy Reeder, he was smaller than Tracy Reeder. Tracy Reeder, as you can see, was 5'11" as a lightweight, and he looked so small in that matchup. Harrell was not going to be big at 170 against JDM, and I would not be surprised if Harrell went down to lightweight after this fight, or potentially even down to featherweight. But the thing is with Harrell, he is still a dangerous matchup with JDM. The problem with Harrell, though, is he's not dangerous in the fact that he's got that one-punch KO power where he could just slip a punch and KO JDM with one punch. Because I was watching his fights, I watched every single fight I could possibly find, and he's actually an expert in a very specific position. He's an expert when he's on the back. When he's on the back, he can flatten out his opponents, and you can see he's actually got 3 KO wins in a row, and they're all by the same method. He flattens out his opponents, and then he kind of lands that side sort of hook, ground and pound, when he's on top of his opponents. He did that when he beat Tracy Reeder, he did that when he beat Mike Roberts, and he did that when he beat John Ramirez. As you can see, it says punches from back mount, but that was also punches from back mount KO. He's an expert on the back. He's also got a rear naked choke win. He's got 2 rear naked choke wins as well. But the thing with Harrell is you might look at all of these wins from wrestling or grappling positions, like being on the back. He's not really a wrestler. He doesn't shoot for takedowns a lot. You know, like he didn't shoot for a takedown against Mike Roberts in the first round at all. And then he didn't shoot for a takedown against Mike Roberts until he hurt him on the feet. And to be fair, he probably could have finished that fight in the second round by KO on the feet, but he decided to go for a takedown instead. Against Tracy Reeder, this was not the best performance from him. Tracy Reeder won the first round, landed an illegal knee, which almost finished the fight, and he almost could have won that fight by DQ, but Tracy Reeder landed the illegal knee, that is. But Tracy Reeder was out wrestling Josiah Harrell. Josiah Harrell was getting taken down and controlled from this Tracy Reeder character, who was a lot bigger than him, who seemed to be a better wrestler than him, and was able to out-wrestle him. Josiah Harrell as well was getting hit by weird punches, because all Tracy Reeder really had on the feet was overhands, and he was landing often on Harrell. But he did look so much better and so much more improved against Mike Roberts in his last fight. He threw a lot of leg kicks, landed a lot of leg kicks, threw a couple of head kicks, but JDM's going to be a lot bigger than Harrell, a lot taller. I don't think you're going to see head kicks from Josiah Harrell. I think what you're probably going to see in this matchup is what we've seen from JDM the whole time. I do believe it's a similar matchup to the fight against Pete Rodriguez, where JDM just kind of figures out Josiah Harrell, and I do think he probably is going to get the knockout. Harrell's got a great record. He's 7-0. He has fought good guys because he has fought 3-0 and 5-0 when he was also 3-0 and 5-0, testing himself. Fought some good amateur fighters as well, so you know that he's actually been developed the right way. But at 170 pounds against a ranked fighter or a ranked level fighter in Jack Della Maddalena, it's not a good matchup for him. I do think JDM is going to probably knock him out in the first round. If JDM even wants to, you could see JDM go out there and use this wrestling and his grappling as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see kind of how the fight sort of pans out. But I think that JDM can win this fight on the feet. He will win this fight on the feet. But if he wants to, he could mix it up as well himself, because as I said, I've seen Harrell taken down, I've seen Harrell controlled, and I just think that JDM could do that as well. It's been so much significantly bigger, but we know what JDM does. He's a great boxer, and I think he's just going to box up Josiah Harrell on the feet. Harrell has a chance, but the way that Harrell wins this fight is he's probably going to have to get the wrestling going and then try and hop on the back of JDM, try and choke him out, or try and flatten him out. But the thing is, JDM's going to be so much bigger than him. JDM's probably had, a lot of fights with wrestlers that are bigger and better than Harrell as well. JDM was preparing for a wrestler and a grappler in Sean Brady. I can just see JDM knocking out Josiah Harrell. I think he gets it done in the very first round. But let me know what you think about the fight in the comments below. Let me know what you think of my breakdown. If you liked the video, please do subscribe and like the video as well. I really would appreciate all of that. But with the matchup being said, this fight is better than no fight for JDM. JDM went all the way to Las Vegas from Australia, from Perth as well. Perth is probably a lot harder of a city to get out of to get to the US than it is maybe on like the East Coast. I could be wrong, but to get to Perth from New Zealand, it's an absolute mission. But yeah, like JDM had to have a fight. He flew from Australia to the USA, to Las Vegas. He had to get a fight, and he's got a fight. And Joaquin Buckley's posted on Instagram and Twitter all this sort of nonsense, but I wouldn't believe that, dude. He publicly said he didn't want the fight on his Instagram story. He's now denying that. I don't know, but I can find the evidence if you need me to, because I believe Burt MMA posted it on his Instagram. But Buckley said he didn't want the fight. Now the fight's been announced, he's acting like he was in, but he was never in the conversation. So I'd kind of just ignore everything Buckley's saying. Chris Curtis was genuine. Chris Curtis wanted the fight, but Curtis has that fight booked in September, and it is against a ranked opponent. And as I said earlier, booking fights against ranked opponents isn't as easy as you think it is. I do actually talk to a couple of managers, and I talk to managers of ranked fighters. They struggle to get fights because you've got to fight guys that are in the rankings, and a lot of the time the timing doesn't work out. And that's just how ranked fights really get booked, is that the timing has to be perfect. They didn't want to mess up the timing with Chris Curtis and this other fellow that he's fighting. I've forgotten his name, but I think it's Imavov. But anyway, with all that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Just had to kind of tap that on there because everyone's so mad at this matchup. A fight with JDM is better than no fight at all. UFC 290 has not been saved by Harrell, but it's been made better by Josiah Harrell, because we want to see JDM. I'm glad he's taking the opportunity. I'm glad JDM's getting a fight. And with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll catch you to the next one.